How to make an extra large feral cat shelter from styrofoam coolers. Video by Vladimir Kitten Project. This styrofoam cool box was used to ship vaccines to a large veterinary practice. We had collected several of them to turn into shelters for feral cats that had been trapped, neutered, and returned to their location. If there are any cracks, seal them back together with a glue that bonds well to styrofoam. Keep the crack pressed together. Use tape to keep the glue from expanding in directions you don't want it to as the glue dries. To make entrance holes in the shelter, trace a cereal bowl where you want them to be placed. Saw them out using a thin blade with a serrated edge. Don't punch out the holes aggressively or you could break the wall of the shelter. Saw until the holes come out easily. Cats love to stand on styrofoam and claw it. Since we have a collection of extra styrofoam lids from coolers, we are going to use them as an extra layer on the floor. They simply need to have their longest edge trimmed by about a centimeter using a coping saw. Once they fit, they can be placed at the bottom of the shelter. That should prolong the shelter's life by guarding against wear and tear on the true floor. Having one hole in a shelter, as opposed to two, keeps it warmer. You have to think about whether or not having a second hole is worth the heat loss, especially if the shelter is small. Having two holes means the cat has an escape route if something unfriendly climbs in the other hole. It also means that on a bigger shelter, the cats don't have to jostle around so much when one of them wants out. He can use the exit nearest him. What we are going to do here is put two holes in each cooler, but then connect the coolers to reduce heat loss. We cut aligning holes on the sides of a pair of coolers. To do this, you make your hole in one cooler, line it up against the other, and trace the hole where it needs to be made. To keep the lid snugly on the cooler, so that the cats don't pop it up or the wind knock it off, strap it down with a piece of tape wrapped all the way around the cooler and back over itself. After time, the tape will no longer adhere to the styrofoam, but it will stay stuck to itself. Tape the two shelters together with the side holes aligning. Taping black plastic garbage bags all over your new double cat shelter will make it waterproof. Or, if the shelter is not going to be exposed to weather, you can skip this step. To keep the shelter from moving as the cats are using it, and sometimes leaping out of it with force if they get startled, weigh it down with something like a piece of wood. This double cat shelter can house at least 6 cats. They like to curl up very tightly together, which means that more of them can fit in than you might expect.